Throne Liberty is a game that I wasn't really looking forward to, mainly because of the combat system and that the pay-to-win aspect will more than likely exacerbate over time, especially a game like this. But having played the open beta test and seeing some of the feedbacks, positive or negative, I'm kind of baffled, to be honest, by how many people got this game wrong on so many fronts and backs. I don't want to waste your time, so let's get this out of the way. How is the game? Visually, Throne Liberty looks really good. Regardless of what your opinions of the game, I don't think anyone can really say this game looks bad in terms of graphics, so there's that. Performance is fine for the most part. It might start a little bit during more populated areas, but overall, it is okay on high setting. It could be better though. Surprisingly, I also like how vibrant the world looks and feels. There are a lot of NPCs and active in-game actors to give off a very lukewarm vibe. It almost reminds me of Aion and Give 2 that I played for a bit a while back, especially their starting zone, Divinity Reach and Adela Village. Very warm atmosphere, very humble start, and I like it. The world is vast and mostly open. Another thing that I like, a little nice detail, is how seamless the waypoint teleportation is. And even when you enter the game from the character selection or exiting, it all blends in really well. Like there was no loading screen, even though there probably is, but you don't see it. Just a little nice touch. I also love the music and ambience, very fantasy-like and nostalgic somehow. Another game that came to my mind was, again, Aion, that I played for a bit. They share quite the similarities from the music, even the teleport animation, and the combat system, which we will talk about later. The one thing that really surprised me was how not bad the storytelling was in the game. It was actually pretty solid. For an MMO, I have to say, the writing was good, though not the best we've seen, but better than most, I would argue, considering how good the characters' facial animations look. It is mostly voice acted in or out of cutscenes, which by the way, there are quite a bit of them, and they're really solid as well. There are a lot of MMOs I can pull up on top of my head with the cutscenes and visuals of this caliber, so I can't really complain on that front. The storytelling meshed with the visuals and the open world really makes Throne Liberty come off more than just your typical cheap attempt at a cash cow. I really can't say anything bad about the game in terms of the visual or the main story. It's pretty good so far. Now let's talk about what people are complaining about. Some of the backlashes that I'm hearing are that the questings are generic and repetitive, which I don't disagree necessarily, but that can be said about, pretty much most, if not all, MMORPGs. What confuses me are the references people are bringing up. People keep bringing up older MMOs like World of Warcraft back in the day, Guild 2 or Final Fantasy XIV as doing this feature more justice, and I'm wondering, are you high? They're all for the most part one and the same. Every MMO has that trait of having linear and repetitive gameplay at some point. Where do you think Throne Liberty picked this up from? They're all mirroring one another. You go to this location, kill or collect this, then you move to the next zone, blah blah, rinse and repeat. What are you guys rambling on about? I'm not hearing actual critiques with Remedy. I'll tell you what's happening. The reality is a lot of people are blinded by the nostalgia of their favorite game, or they play too many games at the same time and are burned out. So obviously, yes, you're going to have better memories of playing those games versus the one you just recently played after putting so many hours, days, weeks, or even years into others. Again, I agree it can be done better, but not based on the references people are bringing up. And none of these people are actually providing actual alternatives. It's easy to criticize something. Even a child can do it. Anyone can do it. But be ready to have some type of viable solution if you do so. With that aside, let's bring in the big gun, the combat systems. It's just not there. It is tab targeting, so as soon as I heard that, I knew it would go south. So I'm not really surprised. You do have action mode, which I never understood the point of having action mode in tap targeting, because not only is it not action combat if the whole mechanic and skills are centered around tap targeting, such as no free casting or proper aiming, playing action on tap targeting would put you at a disadvantage. Some are saying this isn't as good as World of Warcraft or ARPG. More or less, they're all pretty similar. Tap targeting is going to be tap targeting and nothing's going to really change the nature of it. Though Throne Liberty combat, it does really lacks impact. Feels a little bit floaty, even in comparison to games like Aion or even Star Wars: The Republic. I think Star Wars: The Republic has even better tap targeting than this. I knew this was going to happen as soon as I heard it was going to be tap targeting, so it really isn't a shocker for me. I've been saying the genre needs to completely move on from tap targeting and towards either action combat or hybrid, but action combat, when it is done right, will always be the supreme choice, I would argue. I was trying out Continent of the Nine recently, and while it does have a pretty outdated engine, while its control animations and action combat isn't the best of the type, it was still leagues above anything tap targeting could offer. As for people defending this, some are saying it gets better as you level up. Listen, everything's get better in any game as you level up. What are we talking about? Obviously, you get more skills. It would feel better, yes, but it doesn't change the actual mechanic of what the system is, so the argument doesn't really work. Tap targeting is going to be a tap targeting more or less. And the fact that you even have to make that assertion to begin with makes the combat sound even worse, because most people aren't going to be waiting around for who knows what level you have to get to if it doesn't click the first few times, nor should they have to. As for the monetization, Throne Liberty does have currency that you can purchase with real money and use in-game, along premium passes that gives exclusive rewards, so it is pay to win to some degree. Maybe it isn't as prominent right now, but with a game and publisher like this, you'll be fool not to expect things to get worse over time. Really, regardless of how this turns out, ultimately the combat system to me is what kills it. Overall, Throne Liberty is better than I thought it would be, largely because I was taken a bit back by the world and the storytelling, but as always, the ultimate decider of a game fate will always be the combat gameplay and the business model. Let me know what you guys think. Do you agree with me? Leave your comments. I hope you enjoyed the video. Consider subscribing and leaving a like as well, and I'll catch you later.